Hey, what's up, Facebook folks? It's your old pal Schmucker here, live in Lakeville, Indiana, with my buddy David Harker. How are you, man?
I'm very well. It's a nice sunny day, little breeze. It feels nice out, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is absolutely wonderful for middle of April. We'll take it. But before we get too far here, let's remind you this video being brought to you by Boggs Automotive at 600 Lighter Drive in Warsaw. Give them a call, 574-268-6360 to schedule an appointment. Talk to Andy, Eldon, Colt, the boys, John Coffey too. Also, you can find them on Facebook. Look in the description here. I think it's at the top. Or is
Okay.
It, or it might be
Bottom,
at the bottom.
top.
I don't know.
It's on there somewhere,
It's
right?
there. Check it out. But so, David, tell us a little bit about you and your story.
Sure. Well, I tell you this. I grew up in South Bend. You know, born and bred in South Bend. Went to Marion High School up that way. Got my degree from Ball State University down in Muncie. This was back 2002 is when I started. Went and graduated in 2006. Started my my venture in broadcasting in 2007, and boy, it's taken me to this date. That's can't believe it's already been 12 years that I was in that broadcasting business. It's just it's so surreal. You know, time flies by.
It does fly by, you know. I mean, it's hard to believe that it's been 12 years since I haven't been in the broadcasting business. But and you're married and have a couple of kids.
Yeah, and one on the way too.
Oh man.
Yeah,
So,
I know. Adding more to the clan.
I tell you, being I got 3 myself.
Sure.
So being a dad of 3 kids, it is an interesting business.
Yeah, got that right.
I was just having a conversation with some friends of ours and their teenage daughter before I came on, and she's having some problems.
Oh, yeah.
So we're like, well, she's 15, our oldest is 13, so we're gonna all learn together.
That's what you do, absolutely.
So we're gonna go here. What's your favorite band and your favorite song?
You know, it's funny. I have so many different from so many different years and whatnot. I got to tell you, one of my go-tos, and this is going to sound so weird. One of my go-tos. This goes back to the 1980s. All right, going back to the 1980s. A little group called Men Without Hats. Remember that group?
Safety Dance.
The Safety Dance, yeah. That whether it be that or the dance version, you know, they've got that extended version. That or I always loved the old "Take on Me" by Aha. You know, that's another '80s song back in the day. Those are those are the songs that really give you that upbeat, you know, kind of like, okay, this is goofy as you know what, but it gets you going.
It's that stuff that guys, and yes, guys do it. You put on in your car. Michael Jackson Beat It comes on.
Yeah.
You crank it
Just
up.
crank it up. That's
and you
right.
pull up next to somebody at the stoplight, and they're you're like, I better turn that back down.
Yeah, and if not, you're the one that has the windows up, and you're just going to town with the drums, and they're just looking at you with their phones recording you.
So, did you always want to be a meteorologist?
I did. You know, it's that typical story that you hear. Every single person that wants to be a weather person, when they were 5 years old, they'd rush to the windows during the thunderstorms, and that's what they do. You know, the atmosphere is just, you can't really pin down what it's going to do every single time. And that's what the beauty of getting that meteorology degree is. It's always wondering what's going to happen. You can't forecast chaos, as I always tell people, but what you can do is you can always learn from the experiences that you've had, just like in life. You learn from the experiences and you put that forth in what you do. And so in weather, that's exactly what I do. Even if I'm wrong, which I'm not, I'm just kidding. No, I've had my moments, but, you know, at least I'm able to explain then after the event, okay, here's why. Here's why something didn't happen that should have happened in this situation. But, yeah, I've always had that bug in the back of my mind and in my heart to do weather.
Well, oddly enough, when I was a kid, I used to want to be a meteorologist too.
Did you?
I was always fascinated with like thunderstorms and tornadoes, and I loved it. I mean,
Sure.
it was, I don't know, maybe the volatile nature, just how cool they were, but I always loved meteorology. And actually, when I remember when the Special Olympics were at the Joyce ACC at Notre Dame, I was, might have been 88, 89, somewhere around there. Got to meet one of my meteorological heroes, and Dick Addis.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was just like the coolest thing ever. I got my picture at home somewhere, but
Yeah, and in fact, it's funny you mention that because one of my idols, I mean, I've got the idols that I've had around here, but one of my big idols has been Tom Skilling out of Chicago.
oh yeah,
And I mean, I'd watch him. You get it every once in a while. You get a chance to watch him. But a really cool thing happened last year. We got nominated for the Emmys. Okay, and getting a nomination is just cool in itself. It doesn't happen to everybody. So you have to meet a certain criteria, and then when you do, you get invited to go to their big, shindig there in downtown Chicago. So we went there in November, and I got a chance to meet Tom. And then what would happen? But my phone wouldn't save the picture. So I'm thinking to myself, well, this was just a waste of time. At least I got a chance to meet him. So I'm talking with one of my good buddies, and he said, you know what? I know some people at WGN. Let me go ahead and make some phone calls and texts. That day, and this was back in early December, we set up a meet and greet with Tom in Chicago, did dinner, did the whole 9 yards a weekend before Christmas. Had a blast. And then I got my picture that I'd missed from the last time. So, yeah, that was one of my, I was smiling just cheek to cheek.
That's awesome. So I mean, I've always kind of admired Jim Cantori's work too.
Sure, yeah.
He's one of those guys that gets out there and every kind of weather. You know, it's blowing things around, but him and Al Roker, they're always a couple of favorites.
Yeah. Interesting enough, one thing about Jim Cantori, do you know how short he really is? He's about right here. He's a short fella. Really nice guy, but he's a short fella. You'd never see that. You'd never expect that.
So he's like trying to brace himself
Yes.
in the storms and drop the microphone. That's probably how he can do it because he's so low to the ground.
That's the truth.
But we talk about weather, and do you have a certain type of weather that you like more than others?
That's tough. I mean, when it comes down to it, and I've been in 3 different, I've lived in 4 different climates, so to speak. I mean, and they're all been in the United States. So I've lived here right off Lake Michigan. I've lived up in Lansing, Michigan. So you get the influence of 3 different lakes. You get Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, and sometimes you even get Lake Superior. But most of the time it'd be Lake Erie. And then I spent time down in South Texas in hurricane country. That is fun. That I would say, if I had to come down to it, hurricanes, because I think they're a little bit easier to forecast than what some of this other weather phenomena is.
Yeah, Michiana's a tough place.
It is.
I mean, it's going to be 58, 60 degrees today, and I think there's snow in the forecast for Friday. Something
like, yeah. So you can always get your fill of different weather here. So we're fortunate to be in this location, and I'm fortunate to be able to forecast in this location where, yeah, it's tough, but it's fun. It's so much fun.
It's exciting. And I do these videos, and I try to get an angle from people that we try to talk about maybe some struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And as most people know, I mean, I fought about a 20-year battle with alcohol.
Sure.
And I'm about 2.5 years sober from that. So with that in mind, I mean, have you ever faced any struggles in your life?
A lot. Trying to think of a specific one that really stands out. I mean, when I was younger, you take for granted being able to have the money to use on things. So I got into some substantial debt years ago, and that along with a previous fiance of mine that really didn't turn out that well. It didn't turn out for the best. But being able to look at that in perspective and see how I've grown from that, and how I've made strides. I cut myself off from everything and worked my way back up. I'm debt free now, which is nice. I mean, with the exception of the house and mortgage, but I mean, really, to see that, hey, that was 10 years ago, and how I'm at now, it goes to show you that you're going to learn from any experience. So if anybody does have that struggle, whatever it is, you're going to be able to get through it. That's what it comes down to. If you look up, and if you just take a step back, you're going to get through it. Everyone deals with something, but you can get through it.
Yeah, I tell you, one of my favorite things to remember, and one of the things I tell my recoveries that I talk to, and even the folks on here that I do the videos with, it's like, your record of getting through tough days up to this point as long as you're standing here talking to me, is 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's something to keep in the back of your mind, that no matter what struggle you're going through, I mean, you're 100% up to this point. So use that motivation going forward, and let it inspire you and encourage you to do better, to be more than what you are, because your life's worth it, man. I'm telling you, wherever you're at, your life is worth it.
Yeah, I like those words of wisdom. That's good perspective. I like that.
Yeah, so, I mean, that kind of leads us into our next question here of what or who inspires or encourages you?
Man, you know, whether it be my parents, whether it be my family. I mean, family is everything. You know, that and the good Lord, I mean, really, that's what you need in life. That's what I need in my life, and that's what I needed. And thank goodness I had such a good support system for something like that, you know, way back 10 years ago. And it continues to today. You know, I can't live my life without knowing that, you know, I'm thinking about my family and I'm thinking about the good Lord. That's what it comes down to for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. And I know it's amazing, parents, how much you don't realize when you're going through it, especially in those teenage years. They're so hard.
Yeah.
And maybe even in your early 20s, it's like you have this idea that you want to graduate, and then you want everything mom and dad has, like with the snap of a finger, but it takes hard work to get there.
Yep.
And I work so hard to get what my parents do have, and to dig out of that debt. And it seems like every time something good happens, I get another setback. And it's like back right before Christmas, you know, my mom passed away, and then I've been dealing with the back injury for over a year. But all that while, it goes back to what you're talking about with that perspective, and realizing that God's got a purpose for everything that He allows to happen in our lives.
You got that.
And to help teach us things to go forward. Might not be something that we can use or that we need, but maybe something else that we need to share with other people. So I love it. So we talked about your wife and third kid on the way.
Number 3 on the way in July.
So does your family have a favorite thing that y'all like to do together?
Sleep. Or attempt to sleep. You know, we just like to interact with people. I mean, that's for me, that's the big thing. And get those kids, especially wondering, hey, there's more than just, you know, the television that's in the living room, or there's more than just the video games. Thank goodness my kids don't do the video games because they're young. I mean, I've got a daughter who's 4, I've got a son who's almost 2, and then obviously one on the way. So they haven't been exposed too much to those habits, if you will. But, you know, we try to make the best of the time that we have. I think that's key.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know as if I'd say we have a favorite thing to do together, other than we just spend time with one another. And our kids are a little bit older, so they love the computers.
Oh yeah.
And we just got a Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
So you'll get to go through it. It'll be interesting for you to go through as a parent. In the electronics age.
Oh yeah.
In the screen time.
Well, and you'd think, I mean, we're both young guys. I mean, we're not up there, and we've had technology most of our lives. But we don't know all the technology now that's out there that the kids are getting involved in. So it's still a learning curve for us, and I'm sure for you too.
Oh, sometimes it's like I want to sit down and ask my 6-year-old and my 7-year-old, okay, how do I do this?
Yeah.
And at the other time, I feel like that old man is like, get off my lawn. Yeah. It's like, you whippersnappers, I know it's the video games that are causing the problems. But it's like, I'm such an old man, but I'm not.
Right. That's the truth.
So what is a goal that you'd like to accomplish in maybe the short term, and then maybe in the long term?
Well, I think and I'll start with the long term first, because I think that's easier to answer. My long term goal, and this is what I strive for, I guess you consider it short term too, but every single day I want to make sure I put a smile on someone's face. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's, you know, giving that last dollar that I have to someone on the streets, or whether it's buying a cheeseburger to someone who forgot their wallet and back in line, or holding the door for someone. I mean, because that type of interaction, not only does that make you feel good, but that shows that there's some sort of appreciation still out there. You know, we live in a day and age that there's not as much of an appreciation for others as when we were younger and when our parents were younger. So to be able to have those values and still put them out there, I think that appreciation in such a fast-paced age, if you will, that helps. And I know that I can always do better, and everyone can do better. So always look for that opportunity in the long term. But in the short term, I think it's that's tough. I mean, because since it's changing day by day, it's tough. But I guess if it's short term, just my goodness, I can't think of a short term one at this point. But I'm sure with that smile on my face, you can see the gears are turning up there.
Yeah, and I think the goal you're talking about could be feasible for today.
Sure.
And I know part of my wife and I's goal is in our life to be closet millionaires. Where I can walk down the street just like I am, which I'm pretty known for shorts and flip flops.
Yeah.
All year round, and I want to be that guy that just happens to take care of somebody's mortgage.
Sure.
So we want to be those people that can bless others without them realizing it. And people don't see you as somebody that has a ton of money, but just a very big heart.
Absolutely.
That's something a goal that my wife and I have. I was a very big fan of yours, by the way. I would be probably remiss if I didn't say my wife Holly was a big fan of yours.
I was going to say, because we talked about this before we started the video, so now she's getting the call out.
Now she's
you
getting
hear that,
the call
Holly?
out.
You're getting it.
She's getting the call out, and I showed you the picture of our two wives.
Yeah.
And they could pass for sisters.
They could.
It's uncanny, but it's amazing what a small world it is.
Yeah.
So, do you have any hidden talents? Can you pat your tummy and rub your head?
I can do that. I don't practice as much as I do now because I don't have one at home. But I did take 15 years of piano lessons.
Really?
Yeah, that's something most people don't know. I'm an Eagle Scout, so I've got all those those witty little things that I can do that most people think, that's one of those life hacks, if you will.
So if we got stranded right here in front of the Lakeville Public Library, you could start a fire and build us a tent.
Yeah, absolutely. And I could do it out of the branches above us. I could do it with the branches that you see in the bushes there, making ice cream. Absolutely.
I took Cub Scouts up until I think maybe 7th grade.
Sure.
And then it got kind of hard, and I got lazy, and sports got more important.
Oh, I understand.
But what advice would you offer anyone wanting to pursue a career maybe in broadcasting or just a career in general?
Well, with the specific in broadcasting is make sure that you do your work early. I didn't decide I wanted to get into broadcasting until I was a junior in college. In most cases, that's too late. So if you want to go into broadcasting specifically, get involved now. I wish I would have had the stuff that I have now when I was in high school and everything. If we'll say radio, for instance, you want to get into radio, go buy yourself a microphone, maybe a little USB microphone for the computer and a mixer or something like that, and start practicing. For television, this is what we tell the young kids that come, that would tour the stations. We would say, if you want to do involved, watch the news, watch how the reporters do it, get a little notebook out, and write a story based on that. Something of that nature. If you want to go into weather, go outside go buy a cheap weather station. I got one that I literally got on clearance for $3, and I just have it sitting in the window so it tells me the temperature and the humidity. So get involved in something like that. And then the other half of it is get to know people in the community. I'm very fortunate that I grew up knowing a lot of the weather people and a lot of the news people in the area, and then fortunate enough that when I was graduating college, a girl that had gotten a job down in Texas, she was able to put my name in the hat because they were needing somebody. So it's all about the people and then working your way up, and always practicing and broadcasting.
I tell you, I got to ask this question.
Yeah.
I didn't put it on here.
Okay.
But when you're in college,
yeah.
Do they, it's a pet peeve of mine, the reason why I ask, but do they teach the reporters that do it, do they teach you to talk like this? Like I am reporting and I am super serious whether I am talking to whoever.
No, actually all they do is just teach you the broadcast voice that you have to learn each and every day. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's a cadence that you get in the business. You see people do it, so you pick it up.
Yeah,
and it's so hard to break. That's
bet.
the funny thing. I never really fell into that, so to speak. I mean, I have my own things that, you know, I'll be talking about the radar, and as you see on the radar behind us, you know, we've got rain, and it's going to be here in the next few hours. So you have a little bit of that, but you learn from it. You break the mold. That's what it comes down to, is breaking the mold and always trying to improve. I was one of those people. I was always told by consultants, tape yourself doing weather, and then watch yourself. I can't watch myself do weather at all. In fact, whenever I would put together a demo reel of my weathercast, I cringed when I would sit and look at myself on camera and put it together, because I can't watch myself.
Yeah, and I tell you, one of the first things I remember and the advice I got going into radio was, you don't have to talk like you're on the radio because you're already on it. So my wife will attest, I yell at the TV all the time. I'm like, why are they talking like that? They're on TV,
Yeah.
don't they know?
Right. Well, that's true. Absolutely. So yeah, it's one of those changes. But the second half of the question about just a career in general, find something you love to do. I mean, I'm serious. Even if you just love, and for the the younger kids, if you just love playing with dirt, there's a job for it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's seriously a job for that.
Yeah.
There's a job for anything. So whatever you find that you love to do, get involved in that. We'll say gardening, for instance. Say you just love to garden. Get involved with one of the a horticulture group in town, or go to composting classes, for instance. Or if you're younger, in high school and want to be able to get involved in that, not only do that, but see what colleges are out there that have that as a way to go. I never thought I'd be in broadcasting. I thought I was going to sit behind a desk talking about weather my entire life. So, you find the little things where you don't expect them, and then you kind of just go off on a tangent from there.
That's great. I tell you, and I've always, the mystery of the green screen
Yeah.
has always got me too.
It's a mystery to me too. Interesting enough. I mean, in all reality, you have a green screen behind you, and what they do is their computers in the back. Whatever is that color green, they can put a map over it. That's why they tell us don't wear green, because then your map shows up on you. So you'll never, unless the green screen is blue. There are some blue screens that are out there, but blue is what a lot of people wear anyway. So that's why it's that specific chroma color key green.
I loved it, and I always loved the three-piece suit.
Hey man,
by the way.
the three-piece. I'm one of those old school guys that I want to bring it back. It's class. That's all I'm gonna say. It's class.
I loved it. I don't think I could ever pass unless maybe it was from like the neck up. But then I could look like Angus Young from AC/DC.
There you go. Yeah.
He could pull it off. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in the radio business, I hear all you have to do is just come in your underwear. I don't know if that's true.
Well, I got some stories, but
For a different day.
For a different day. But hey, man, I tell you what, I appreciate you hanging out with me.
Oh, absolutely. It's fun. I'm glad to be able to be a part of this because, you get to pick my brain and I'm, not in my element, so to speak.
Yeah, and I don't know as if I'd say I'm in my element, but if you could see how we had the tripod and this camera up here, it's
Right.
literally hanging to a light pole right outside the library and
Yeah.
an iPhone. So you talk about getting into broadcasting. If you have an iPhone or just a smartphone,
Yeah.
you've got the capability to practice and test yourself out to see what you can get done.
Yeah, and you talk about your tripod. You got a nice little tripod there. I went and bought mine. This little, what is it? What is the arms called on these?
The squid arms.
Yeah,
I
the
think.
squid arms. I actually got a cheaper version of this one for $5 at an electronics store. So I mean, you don't even need anything expensive to be able to start doing something like this.
I mean, that's a $25 Amazon job right there.
Sure. Hey, you know what? It's held up for how long now? How long we've been going? Quite a while.
Quite a while, so it's worked. But hey, today's video is brought to you and being made possible by the folks at Boggs Automotive at 600 Lighter Drive in Warsaw. Call them 574-268-6360. to schedule your appointment today, or you can find them on Facebook. The link is in the description. If you click on there, it'll take you to their Facebook page, or you can just visit them in Warsaw on Lighter Drive. So thanks to Boggs Automotive. Thank you, David Harker.
Oh, absolutely. It's been fun. I appreciate it.
An absolute pleasure. And join me tomorrow, because we're going to be traveling down 31 south, heading to Kokomo, and talking to my buddy Shane Crow. He's got a super duper interesting story of overcoming addiction and whatnot, and I know that you would absolutely love it. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. I think that's going to be about 10:30 or so, but I'll release that tomorrow before 8 o'clock, so that way you can be ready to check it out. Thanks again, my friend.
Absolutely. Take it easy.
You guys have a super duper terrific Tuesday, and I will see you tomorrow.